Hello. Hello, 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 hello. 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 Yeah, the stream's a bit quiet tonight, not gonna lie. I don't know if I scheduled it a bit late or whatever, but it is what it is. Hopefully there'll be some people to chat to, because otherwise I'm really gonna struggle. I'm gonna rely on you guys, unfortunately. Well, oh, 1 second. Hey, Armitage, how are you? Sorry, I was just talking to Willow, my wife. How are you? Yeah, so I want to get back into streaming. I was doing just the events and stuff like that, but I realised I sort of miss it. Now, the problem was when I was streaming is it was very difficult to time when I should release a video versus when I should stream. So I want to get back to regular streams. So tentatively, I'm committing to Sunday night, 7 o'clock. That's the plan. That's what we're going to aim for. By the way, I'm in my Syndicate t-shirt today. It's a Syndicate official Syndicate t-shirt. Hi Daniel, how are you, by the way? And the chat is about Fresh today, but we can go off topic. We can talk about other things. I can load up the game. I think this is probably a good time for people though, because this is really when like the max people are playing, right? In fact, let's prove that. Let's see how many people are on New World Database right now. Oh, my stream has gone black. I don't think you can see that. So yeah, but hi, welcome. So we're going to talk about Fresh, whether or not people are angry. Hey Jay, how are you? Hi Godroll Games, how are you? Hope you're doing very well. It's sort of, I was just telling Katie, it's a little bit funny because obviously the last stream I did, we like peaked at 600 views and I was like, what the hell? And it's sort of not because people were here for me, it's because people were here for the event. Events are like a really good way of getting everybody hyped. But I want to get back into doing these sort of like regular topics. I've got this little, I've got one of these classic bottles with cordial in it, partly just so I can drink like this. Hopefully that's not too loud. It looks like the music has stopped. Look like the music has stopped, but I don't know. I've not got my headphones on. But yeah, let's have a look on New World Database, shall we? Let's see what it looks like with this. Where's the stuff that I'm looking for? Here we go. Here we go. What do we have up in here? Yeah, there we go. So let's have a look at New World. Let's see how many people are on it right now. See how many people are in the queue. See all that good juicy stuff that we could see here. Server status. How many we got currently playing? We got 39,000 right now. So this is sort of like peak time, really. This truly is peak time. Hi, M6CEB. How are you? Hope you're doing very well. Nice to see you here. I hope you're doing very, very well. By the way, if you're in the chat and you're around, oh, Preston, I think, did you mention that on the 600 person stream? Because I was saying I went to UConn, I went to Preston University. So yeah, I'm currently based near Warrington, I guess is where you would know. But the stadium name is Deepdale. I couldn't remember that on the 600 person stream, but I live just around the corner from Deepdale. You still have the Pornhub open. I'm gonna tell you, I don't really use I really shouldn't use that word on YouTube because it's gonna be like, what? But I don't use that website. There's like better websites around, so not something I look at. And yeah, so the play numbers though for tonight looking good so far. 39,000. I actually wonder if that's, somebody said there's a big difference between that and Steam charts. Legend. Hey, look, gotta be real with you, haven't we? Sometimes you know the miss it in the mood. So what's it say? So this says 43,000 people right now. Now, how many people are in the queue? Only 317. It's a bit weird, that, isn't it? Oh, Barry's actually just not proper packed at the minute. That's interesting to see. Barry, my hometown. It's my home server, not my hometown. The biggest EU server available right now is City. I don't know how you say that. And then the second biggest that you can actually go to is Asgard. There was a server that has like 40 people on it. Lanka, I think it's quite quiet. You're on Abaton? Where's Abaton on this list? Okay, pretty decent. But so technically there's a difference between what New World Database tells us and Steam charts by about 4,000, which people have been trying to give me all kinds of conspiracy theories for. It's probably just people having the game open, right, but not being in the server. Maybe they've been kicked from being AFK or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's necessarily a dramatic thing. Vinter is from Tartarus. I don't know how you say it. Which is unfortunately. It's a little bit crazy. I'm not sure I agree. I mean, it's a bit weird that they're not quite full, but they've got 317 people in the queue. But, you know, it makes sense. It does make sense. So before we start talking about the topic in hand, before we start doing such a thing, if you're in the chat, you're watching this, and you like me, you like me, you love me, you love me, you really love me, then press like. Press the like button. Mainly because I think it sends a signal to YouTube that everybody's happy, kind of thing. So if you could kindly do that. I don't really want to wait for the fresh servers. Already done, thank you very much. I stopped a month after launch, so want the so Hurling, you're basically the reason, not you specifically. I love your content on New World. Stopped playing months and months ago. Came back about 1 month ago. Oh, nice. The difference in numbers in the actual bots. No, because bots would still be counted as players, right? That's what I'm saying, Stephen. So that's what people were saying, but it doesn't really make sense because bots are counted on. They're still in the server. Do you know what I mean? So there's 39,000 people in the servers, but there's 43,000 people with the game open. So a lot of it is just actually not even AFK people, because they're like, they have the game open, but they're not in the game. So, yeah. I don't know if there's people in the queue is counted in that player number, presumably, but I haven't checked. But, yeah, so let's talk about it. So let's talk about the issue. Howling Apache says, let me read it again. I should really get the chat on the screen. That'd maybe be useful, so we have something sort of interactive to look at. Maybe I should get the chat on this side of me. Maybe that would make sense. I'm not going to try and do that live because I'll mess that up. But at least then it might feel like you can just read the screen. I don't think that's actually any helpful. Anyway, let's talk about it. So the reason that the 2nd of November is bad is because there's people who are waiting for it. It's sort of as simple as that, really. There's people who want Fresh. Why would they want to wait? Of course they don't want to wait. It's a very, very simple equation. Now, Amazon's answer to that is, well, we'd rather it be a better experience. Well, my reply to that is, if you're not comfortable launching Brimstone Sands, then you shouldn't be launching Brimstone Sands. You know? 4K people sleep at the keyboard getting waffle face. Yeah, maybe. They're just drunk. Just like, I'm logged in, but I can't go on the plane today. I'm personally not going to start Fresh. I've come way too far for that. Yeah, so I sort of agree with that. Like, I already have an alt who's like level 55, I think, and it's like, oh my god, I don't want to do it yet again. However, I do love that Fresh MMO feeling. Like, it feels so good. So I think what I will probably do is level up to maybe like level 30, maybe do some like PvP arenas in the 20 to 30 bracket, and then stop. Maybe try and get in a war. Cafaro, the date is the 2nd of November. I've got a bit of black in my tooth. Thank you, Stephen, by the way. I also appreciate that. Let's be honest, they will be merged in future. Yes, and they really need to come out with a bit. I don't know what the FAQ said. We might even have a look at that. They should come out and say that these servers, we're going to merge you to all of the Fresh Start servers first, but then we're going to let you transfer off, and eventually we're probably going to merge you into another server. Eventually, if the player numbers do not sustain. We'll try and keep Fresh as separate as possible, but at some point that might not be possible. Milkaraz says, I think it's dumb to not release them at the same time. Yeah, I personally sort of agree. I don't necessarily think it's dumb. I think it's unfortunate, if that makes sense. There's only a few people that can't wait for Fresh. Yeah, most people can wait, I guess. It's just like the launch of another game, isn't it, to be fair, Andrew? If you're already not playing, then you're just not playing for a couple of extra weeks. Maybe not that bad. On a personal, like, content creator note, the more hype for the game, the better for me. So maybe that's why I was a little bit, like, you know, stumped there. Yes, I do not want to level trade skills. Jules Without Rich says, can't believe you talking live. Love your work, brother. Oh, Jules, yeah, so I used to do quite a few live streams and then I just sort of stopped. I was like, what was happening is every time I wanted to do a live stream, some news would break, or maybe I'd be absolutely shattered from work because I was trying to do a weekday or something. Or maybe we just had plans as a family. And I was like, oh, this is really awkward. And then it just dawned on me the other day. I was like, you know what? I could just simply do Sunday evening. And almost nothing happens on a Sunday evening in my life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really do much. So Keen2 says, people came back to the game after playing for 6 months. Then they want equal. Yeah, so I agree with that. People came back and then they're like, oh, well, I'm not actually in a good position here. So let's do something about it. Why are people telling me not to level past 620 gear store before Brimstone Sands? Toenail, great question. The answer to that is your Umbral Shards, it costs more to go from 600 to 620 in the... let me get this right. It's cheaper to go from 625... let me get this right. It's cheaper to go from 620 to 625 in the new patch. And it's more expensive to go from 600 to 620 current. Oh. Nah. This is very hard to think of on the fly. Let me write this down. I'm going to write this down. Wait, bear with me. 600 to 620 is cheaper now. Is cheaper now than in patch. 620 to 625 is more expensive. No, it's the other way around. No, man. Oh, I can't think. Wait, no, it's right, isn't it? No, that is right. Oh, God's sake. I'm giving up. Just go to 620. The answer is go to 620 now, and then it's going to get cheaper to go from 620 to 625. Okay, I'm embarrassing myself. Last year I stopped playing at level 40 because too many life skill botters. So bots are an interesting question, Waris. They are sort of diminished a little bit, but not like insanely. There are still bots. Every game has bots. I made a video about that. It is what it is, I think. Did I miss anybody? So if I missed your question or something, do just post it again, please. Hilm Syndicate said, I've actually calmed. I just want to start fresh. That makes complete sense to me. If you just want to play fresh as soon as possible, why would you want to wait? But it sort of makes sense. I understand their point of view. I'm curious if there is an FAQ about that. Godroll Games, Jay says, what are my thoughts around mid-game? Mid-game, I think, is a problem. Like 620, level 25 to 60 is still a problem. Or if you mean mid-game in terms of the end game, then I think we have a whole big question there. Low-level mutations are sort of getting a fix in the next patch in that you get more shards at lower levels, so it sort of could be okay. I agree with you that the birthday celebration was a bit meh. Andrew, I make sense. Like, the hype of Fresh would have made sense with Brimstone. It would have been like boom, 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 boom. The logic of let's make sure everything is working, I think makes sense. I have no problems with it logically. I do think they should be more confident in Brimstone. I do think that there's an argument there. You do gypsum for shards. The effort for M8 to M10s is not worth the amount of shards. I can do the same amount of shards just doing my daily gypsum. It's less stressful. Malkaraz, a lot of the time that's literally all I do. I've not done an expedition in quite a while because I've not really been playing that hardcore. And I've just been doing my gypsum dailies. The two easy ones, the diamond and emerald, oh, so easy. I just get them every day. Sorry, my mouth's a bit wet. I'm like clicking my mouth. I do apologise. Mike says, disappointing in the 2-week delay. I will just create a new chat on the 18th just to casually play and figure out the weapons I'll use. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, yeah. It makes complete sense. You don't even have to wait till the 18th, Mike. if anything, I almost recommend not waiting until the 18th, because then you get a completely fresh experience in terms of the questing will be new to you. Whereas if you do it twice, you might be a little bit bored the second time, but that's just personal preference. I do think, yeah, the lower level shards, the lower level mutations getting more shards, I think that's a really good change. And I actually think that the curve for the weapon upgrading is now much better. I just think it's a little bit weird for people who are already playing, if that makes sense. Because right now, if you're like gear score 600, sorry, my mouth is so weird today. If you're gear score 600 and you're trying to get to 625, nobody's doing the low level mutations, therefore you have this sort of like gap. But if people start doing the lower level mutations, it makes perfect sense. Do you think the hype is dying in general? Alex, yes I do. I do think the hype is dying, and I don't think that's a problem. I think we'll get it back when we get Brimstone. I think there'll be more hype moments, but I don't necessarily think it's a problem. I don't think it's anything to worry about necessarily. You're hungry because I heard fresh experience. Oh, geez. Thank you, Joker, for that. Are you living up to your name? That's not about the fresh people want to fresh start for themselves. You can do it online server now, but really people want to come back and still equal players that always play. Yeah, Keen, and I agree. I actually think that makes sense, right? People have seen a lot of exploits. You don't want to be behind. Like, Wrath of the Lich King did it really nicely, in my opinion. They were like, okay, we're going to do Wrath of the Lich King, but you know what? You don't want to compete against everybody who's, been playing for years and years, and they've got all that gold from TBC and Classic. So have some fresh servers for the people who sort of stopped. And it's like, yeah, well, you still got a level. But it was sort of nicely timed. It was like 2-3 weeks before the game came out. I thought it was quite good. I do have to admit. Denver Hunter says, as long as they open a new server on the 18th, I'll play. Doesn't have to be fresh. Denver, I don't really see the point. There's a new server that's not fresh. There's plenty of them going around. What they'll do with the actual servers is actually a good question. We don't really know the answer to that. So Mike, yeah, I agree. There could be new servers, but they're just not going to be fresh. I'd love to come back to this game, but after getting a new job, I simply don't have the time to keep up. Weirdly, the Backpack Angler, the game, once you're like max level and your max gear score, really casual. It's a really good casual MMO. I think it's one of the better ones out there. I'm gear score 625. My perks are not BIS. I do not have 3 BIS perks. I do not have them. But you know what? My 2 decent perks, gear score 625, I'm not a million miles behind. Yes, I'm not like the best of the best. I'm never going to be anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I do think the game's actually quite good for casuals. I had a feeling that fresh start servers wouldn't launch on Brimstone or before. Before I thought it was unlikely, but I was optimistic. You're more concerned how many servers they will launch and they don't want another queue simulator. So, I'm not sure which dev update it was. I think it might have been the end of August or the end of September. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one it was. Katie, she said they were working on something for queues and transferring servers. And that's really important. In my mind, I think they're setting it up so you can transfer a server from the main menu. They may be setting it up so that if you're in a queue, you can just play the game, but maybe you won't be able to get resources or something. Don't know how that would work because it doesn't really make any sense. So I sort of anticipate you're going to be able to merge, you're going to be able to move servers really quickly, but I don't know how true that will be. You've gone for a week on holiday, no fresh start, no patch, but a leveling up bonus before the level reward. That's weird, right? Joker, the leveling XP thing is more for players who are sort of maybe like level 50, who are trying to just get to that level 60 before Brimstone, because Brimstone is sort of like, it's not a reset, but there's a few like catch-up mechanics in there, and that there's actually some quests that just give you 605 or 610 gear score items. So you will be like not a million miles behind if you play Brimstone, if that makes sense. You are getting solo dungeons next patch. It's one dungeon that you can do one time to my best knowledge, but that's a really important thing I think for the future. In the dev update, they did say they were going to lean into solo play, which I have to confess, I really, really, really like the sound of. I think that's actually a great decision. Can't people just transfer server? Yes, Toenail, at the minute, on any new server right now, you can just transfer gold or transfer your character. On Fresh, no, because Fresh is not allowing any transfers. So, I almost agree with you, Johan, that on my main channel, I will allow that. Matt, I'm not sure who it looks. Is this your main channel? Thank you, I appreciate that. Hi, Meepsy. Bet I get here at the end. No, you're not at the end. We're at the start. I've only been going 20 minutes, so we've got some stuff to talk about. A long way to go. Named items will also drop at 590 gear scope. Fusion Thunder is correct there, of course. If you want the experience and new leveling and other content, you can start on 18. But if you want start equally, then wait for Fresh. Yeah, completely true. I think that the game needs more content for casual players. I'm thinking about more solo content. Well, as I just said, they literally said that in the dev update that we're going to look at more solo-based play, which I have to say I think is a great decision, because whilst MMOs are obviously massively online multiplayer games, or what did Aria Realty say? Massively multiplayer online games, technically, the other way around, but being able to just log into the game and do something as a solo character and feel like you're progressing, I think is very important. When you log into New World right now, sometimes you're like, what do I do? What can I do? And I think that question's really bad, basically. Am I making a level video on the best ways to get Zone XP to help people to buy? Oh, Joker, I'll write that down. Here, let me write that down. I do like it. The best way is probably town boards, unfortunately. But let me write that down. Let me write that down. Bear with everybody whilst I do some YouTubing. Yes. Okay, I'll write that down. I also play a lot solo. Yeah, there needs to be more solo content. Completely agreed. I think it's silly all the current servers they open are going to lose such a large amount of numbers due to fresh start, and then more forced merges. Yeah, Meepsy, it's a really good question. It's a really fair point. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it personally. I think Brimstone itself will be hyped enough. I think Fresh Start may be overhyped for some people, but I don't know how true that is. Or which one do I prefer? I probably prefer PvP, but it has to be the right kind of PvP for me. I really like, for example, in Elder Scrolls, you know, is it Tamriel? That kind of stuff. I really liked in Guild Wars, the like world versus world stuff. I want that mass kind of feel rather than like PvP arenas, mainly because I'm not very good. So that's where I go. Some named items already drop at 590, but what's actually happening, Stephen, is I think they drop as a minimum of 590. So that means if your if your expertise 500, they will now drop at 590, whereas in the past that might not have been the case. So that should be important. I absolutely love life skilling in New World. Yeah, to me, I think that's actually one of the more fun things. Now that I have all my stockpiled, I can share the idea. Making food works really good. Ooh, what are you up to, Joker? I like PvP. It's for something meaningful. Yeah. Like wars are in theory really good, but you know what else was really repetitive. I just find them really repetitive. Can you hear that? I just trumped. You can't really hear it on the mic. So let's check out. There's some things I want to check out. So let's maybe check out the forums. And let's see what they said about Fresh. Because there were some questions, and I'm not really sure if they've answered everything we would need to know. But let's talk about it. Let's have a look at it. Cooking for town reputation. That was an old school strategy. That used to be one of the main ways of doing it, but I don't know if that still is, because the town boards are just so effective right now. Well, in the new patch. So let's have a look at this. Greetings. We are here to share some. So did they do? I'm not sure where this is. Did they do like an FAQ based on the news that they dropped? It still currently works. Does it work in the patch? So let me see if I can find this post. I don't think it's going to be in support. I don't think that makes any sense. By the way, I've been seeing a lot about this desync and letting it go in your firewall. I have no idea if it's true, but I've been seeing a lot about it. I don't think this is where I'm trying to get. So where is it in the official news? How to transfer to another region, server emojis, fresh start world. So let's have a look at fresh start world. You wasn't looking in the patch. That makes sense. Let's move this over here so we can actually see it. I just want to see what they actually said about it. Is the one where they have like, is it this one where they have questions? I thought they did some like, they did like a Q&A, right? Does anybody know where that is? Yeah, so we already read this. Did they actually, is this an official post? Correct. Did they do a Q&A? I thought they did a Q&A. Well, that's unfortunate. I was just reading something about YouTubers. I'm like, oh, I might be included in that. Okay, can we just go all the way to? This forum is really awkward. Like, why can I? How do I quickly get to the top? Can I do this? There we go. Oh, so this actually, they didn't actually compile the Q&A. Dev blog, is it on the website? I don't bloody know. New world, new world. I thought they did like a few questions and answers, and I wanted to see it. It's not here either, is it? Okay, maybe I'm losing my mind. Maybe I'm losing my absolute mind. Yeah, I don't want to see the one where they actually have these questions. Like, I don't want to see the individual questions. Do you know what I mean? I thought they did. I thought they already provided some of the information, but apparently not. Okay, because one thing that really troubled me was the fact that they said that they're delaying it so that they can check that everything's working with Brimstone and there's no exploits and stuff like that, right? And the reason I had a bit of a problem with that is simply because I am of the opinion, and I was talking to somebody who works from Amazon but not in an official capacity on Twitter, and my problem is, if Brimstone isn't ready, if you're not sure that there's not going to be any major exploits, why is Brimstone being released? Do you know what I mean? If Brimstone is going to cause you any major problems, why are you releasing it? Now, I understand that you can never have anything perfect, but you can never have anything perfect. At some point, you're just going to have a gamble, right? So I don't quite get the logic of it. Either way, it's showing a degree of like uncertainty or a lack of confidence in their own product, which they've just flat out admitting to, I guess, right? Which I completely understand. They want Fresh to be popular and they want it to be good, because if Fresh comes out and there's exploits, the pain that they will suffer will be quite high, right? I completely get that. But if they're telling me that they can never be sure that there's no exploits, it has this sort of like logical fallacy of like, well, aren't there always going to be potential exploits? Do you know what I mean? If you can't account for something, why does 2 weeks make a difference? Yes, you might catch some, but you still then might not actually catch them because they may not be found. So, the dev not confident enough to deliver bug-free content for Brimstone patch after all the PTR testing. That was my point. I'm like, I said to the guy on Twitter, like, is that not what the PTR is for? Like, the PTR is going to be up for like 6 weeks. You know? And you know what's really bugging me? There's an issue I have on the PTR. It's still not fixed, and they know about it. But they've left it for a couple of weeks. And it's the patch, it's the quest where you hand in, it's called like, I love thy neighbor, or I don't know, something like that. I love forgotten or something. They've not fixed it yet. But yeah. I also thought they had systems in place to identify game-breaking things more quickly. Yeah, sure, is what we were sort of told. Can we say on the 18th is the real bug testing? Keen, very astute of you there. That is very likely what it actually is, isn't it? Let's face it, like, the 18th of October is bug testing for Fresh. Like, that's crazy and unfortunate. I think it's more for gold exploits. Sure. It doesn't matter what online game it is. Some sweaty git will always find a way to find an exploit to ruin the game for everyone else. Probably, you know. Did they fix the bug with the Gear Score 600 bags in the PTR? What was that bug? You can get 600 Gear Score bags. I saw a 5-head video quite a few weeks back, but I don't remember any specific bug. FS also depends on this. If there are exploits, then FS also suffer from them. Oh, yes. Yeah, well, I agree with you. It makes sense, right? Why test in live? Why test on the PTO when you can test in live, you know? I mean, makes sense. Makes you wonder if they're really ready. Yeah, that's the question that makes me wonder the most. If you're not confident in Brimstone, are you even ready for Fresh? I think it's a legitimate question. And I didn't feel like making a video to discuss it because I was like, a lot of people are happy that there's a delay in a few ways. Here we go. I'm ready for the experimental server. There you go. You're ready for the experimental server. By the way, if anybody can find that Q&A, if you post it, like, let me know and I'll see it, or maybe tell me where it is. But yeah, I'm unable to see it right now. But yeah, are they ready? That's a good question. And then let's talk about you guys' specific plans. I don't think you guys is really the correct English, but I've said it now, so let's move on with our life. Before we do though, big shout out to my YouTube members. There's a couple of you in the channel, Meepsy. Who did we have? We had Godroll Games earlier as well. Big shout out to you guys. The goal, for anybody wondering, is if I ever get to a point, and I'm not sure this will even be reasonably feasible. Don't know if any of you are familiar with Jim Sterling. That's his channel, her channel. He's now called Jim Stephanie Sterling. Nope, she's now. Oh my god, I'm actually really truly embarrassing myself. It's because she's called Jim Stephanie Sterling. Had this thing where she basically turned off ads for her videos because she had enough Patreon people to not have ads. If I ever get to a point where that's possible, that is something I would absolutely do. So that's the dream. I'm literally nowhere near that. But if I ever get to that point, I would copy her methodology because I think it's good. But yeah, big thank you to you guys. If you want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. And we're going to start streaming more. You'll have like emotes and stuff. So yeah, big shout out to you guys. But let's talk about actual plans, right? Well, let me just read these comments. If you roll a 600 gear score bag, but you have a perk pre-selected like luck, it doesn't roll the special. Oh. I mean, it almost, yeah. I don't know if maybe that's intentional. It sounds interesting. For all players who want to play Fresh Start server, give some appreciation for legacy players that do the testing for your Fresh Start. Yes, they won't know the pain that we suffered. T2 is still a thing. Did they fix gem scaling yet? Or are tier 2 gems still better than pristine when socketed? I did not realize that was the thing. I'm also not surprised. But yeah. So let's talk about the plans for Fresh. I'll tell you my plan, right? I've alluded to it already, but obviously I'm going to play Brimstone Sands on the 18th. Weirdly, if you're in the UK, I would not be booking off the 18th. If you're in EU, I'd be very cautious about booking off the 18th if you're one of those people who are booking off days. The patches, typically, but not always, on a Tuesday are in the evening, like late at night, sometimes actually Wednesday morning. However, some patches, like the big patches, typically come out in the morning of the day that they say. So if you're an American, it might be like really early in the morning. If you're in EU, it might be like 12 o'clock midday. Do not rely on it, basically. Personally, if you wanted to get ahead, I would maybe look at doing it on the 19th if you're in EU. Send you a screenshot? No, are you talking about the gem scaling or are you talking about the perks? I believe you with the perks. I'm not really too flustered. But obviously I'm going to play Brimstone. I'm not going to go like super heavy with it. What I really want to do is get one Heart Rune gem in its max form. So ideally I want one of every type of Heart Rune gem in its max form. I'm also wondering when people are going to tell me which one's best. Because there's so many, there's 15 of them, right? I need somebody to tell me which one's the best so I don't waste my materials. So there's a good chance that I'll just try and farm like one of each first. And then I'll wait until the internet tells me which one's the best. The great thing is that we have holidays from the 17th till the 2nd of November. So I'm going to play the hell out of Brimstone. Vitner, Where are you from? Because I might move there. Keen raid content has obviously been confirmed. That's probably going to come. If I'm honest, I think that'll come late next year. I wouldn't get too excited. Also, in Germany, you've got a whole time off. You've got that kind of time off. That's nice. So Brimstone, I'm going to play. I want my Heartrune gems. Honestly, beyond the Heartrune gems and new Rune Glass gems, do I really need to do anything else? Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't necessarily think I do. Hey, Ebonheart TV's here. I have a small but tight-knit group around 8 to 15 people. Some of them might not come due to the 2nd November release. True, and I know, Ebonheart, you guys, you probably play WoW. There's a retail expansion, I believe, coming in November. Still solid 8 people guaranteed, but I have your group. Yeah, it really was a hype killer. That was one of the problems. Fresh being delayed was a hype killer. And that's unfortunate. There's no other way about it. I understand the logic of it. I just don't like it in any real way. Dragonflight's the 28th. So we might end up seeing... The weird thing is, like, what percentage of people do you reckon are not playing Wrath, but will play Dragonflight, who would play New World? Like, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure about that. If you're a WoW player, would you now not be playing Wrath, which was like peak WoW? So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that one. But my plans, obviously, I'm going to play Brimstone. I said I'll get the Heartrune, get one of each. And then I will roll on Fresh. WoW looks like a PS2 game. Oh my god. Such a burn, but also so true. And, solid. You reckon 30% of people? Yeah, you don't know it. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. There aren't that many people who are going to leave Wrath or retail to play New World again. I just don't know how many people that's going to be. People more hype about fresh start servers compared to actual Brimstone. Is this true? Well, Keen, that is a really good question. I think the jury's out for that question. I don't think we actually know. You know more people leaving New World for WoW right now. Meepsy, I think that might be sort of in the minority though. Like, New World is actually growing, so the coming and goings are a little bit questionable, obviously. 30% will leave Wrath for retail, but maybe 1 to 5% for New World. Yeah, maybe. I think World of Warcraft, like Wrath, how many people are going to go into Kata? Kata is sort of known as the decline, like the start of the decline at least. But is it really? Because a lot of people like Kata. I have no idea what's going to happen there. The hype was way too early. Yeah, so that's the thing with their dev updates, right? And the PTR is good and bad. Imagine if two things. We never got the late August announcement, and then we got the PTR like last week. The hype would have been unreal, right? The problem with that is you don't have people testing it, which is a problem, especially for Amazon. So going fresh start 100%, just want to have the experience of it. Also, I don't know what to do right now. Even with Brimstone, I think new content going to be over in a few weeks. Yeah, clicks, that's sort of what I'm saying. Once you get the Heartrune gems and you get the Rune Glass, it's the same old stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's literally the Ennead and an expedition. The only thing that could really spice things up in the short term that we know is coming is the leaderboards. That's going to be super interesting. I'm also not interested in any other games. I'm just going to play New World and then Throne of Liberty when that comes out at the moment. Maybe Ashes of Creation Alpha 2, but I'm not getting ready for that. You think Kata will blow up but then lose? Yeah, that sort of makes sense. It sort of makes sense because Kata was popular, but then everybody knows Kata's the end, if that makes sense. New World needs to come out with something special. Ashes of Creation looking really good from what I've seen. I've got to tell you, that combat update for Ashes of Creation I think looked absolutely insane. Very sad that it's tab target, basically. Even the action combat is basically tab target. But, you know what? If New World's my action, I actually have to aim combat, then Ashes of Creation can be my full-on tab targeting. Now, Throne of Liberty can be whatever the hell it is. It's pay-to-win nonsense. But as long as I enjoy it, I'll have a good time with it. So, we'll see what we'll see what Throne of Liberty ends up being. Jules is with me on that one. I do have a channel, by the way, dedicated to that game at the moment. Apparently there's a data mine that shows a high tier house. Yes, I saw Damon's video on that. 90k house just doesn't... I mean, that's way too much. What does it offer? I don't need more trophies necessarily. I mean, I'm not even using the trophies to the best of their abilities, so a house would have to be, it has to be pure vanity, I think. They will probably add bosses to Brimstone. Well, we saw that Worm is apparently going to be a world, not a world boss or a raid boss, something like that at some point. Yeah, New World Dev update needs to be huge. I feel like the roadmap they're showcasing is mediocre on me. So Ebonheart, I actually think, now this may be slightly controversial, I think it is going to be a little bit meh. Because all the big stuff that they're talking about is actually coming out next year. So what can we actually experience in that year that they've not spoke about? Because we know it's not mounts, we know it's not raids. Like ranked, we'll probably get ranked PvP at some point. We'll probably get different variants of arena. We'll probably get, I suspect they'll do like a new Outpost Rush battlefield. I would like to see a different variant of war, not just a queuable war, but wars that just don't feel repetitive every time you do them. And Mike, you are assuredly, I think, quite correct. I don't think we're going to see Ashes of Creation Alpha 2 until next year, personally. Maybe I'm wrong. However, Alpha 2 itself might be worth playing because people are so desperate for a really good MMO. I mean, we all like New World, presumably. Well, some of us do, some of us don't. And yeah, I think Ashes will be super popular. Even its Alpha 2 will be super popular. Are we getting a new roadmap? Yes, so the thing is, we're getting a new roadmap. And that roadmap is going to be very, very crucial. Obviously, I have no idea what's in it. We know it's probably not going to be mounts and raids because we know they're in the far, far future. So what exactly it will contain is anybody's guess right now. Something wrong with the dev that not commenting about their content and need to fix time on the PTR till the end of the thing's broken. Yeah, that is the problem. I think what they need to do, and I don't know how feasible this is because I don't know the economics. I think they need to pay 50 people to play their game on the PTR. They need to pay testers. Don't rely on like, I don't know. And then, you know what I mean? They need to pay testers and just use them. And well, Meepsy, I personally hate it when companies give stuff to just content creators. I find it really disappointing. I don't know. I understand it. I know WoW is like generally when they do beta invites and stuff like that, they give it to content creators first. It's just not, I don't know. Something about me doesn't like it. Personable. We are the beta testers, sure. I think it'll be company estates, rank PvP, quest stories. Yeah, fair point. That rework 25 to 60 is almost assuredly going on that list. So I do agree with you there. Company estates, I know that could come. And it would sort of make sense because it's not like a massive, like, oh my god, amazing feature. It's just like a really good feature. Do you know what I mean? It's a like 8 out of 10 kind of feature. So it'd be really good to see. And a PvP rework, that'll probably be on the list. So what I'm talking there is instead of PvP quests, maybe we'll actually see like actual, you know, conquest in a sense where you have to go and claim specific areas of the map, like forts, but on a more interesting level. Yeah, internal testing with professional bug hunters. Yeah, like people who know how to find bugs, like pay them. just pay them. So there you have it. I had the idea that you can earn cosmetics for the live servers when you achieve something. Yeah, no, I think I've seen either you say that before or somebody say that before. Unfortunately, at the minute, even though they are somewhat a little bit linked, because we actually saw there was a fix on one of the patches this week, or last week I should say at this point, where it was like, it was showing you were like logged in and you couldn't transfer or something like that. So there was a random connection between live and the PTR. Generally, they're different clients in Steam. So I think that might be hard work for them to do that. But it is something I would like to see as well. Give people rewards for playing the PTR. But maybe and you could actually change the rewards. You could be like, hey, in the Brimstone Sands update, we want you to do 5 quests. That's a bit boring. But maybe run 5 dungeons. Do you know what I mean? Like give people sort of real life quests, if that makes sense, to go and do something on the PTR. Hey, Call Gameplay, I'm doing very well, thank you very much. I may look like I'm tired. Everybody always, I reckon about 5% of all my comments are, hey, you look like you're tired. Why don't you get some sleep? Hey, look what New World's done to you. I'm like, mate, I just look like this. I can't help my face. Your take on fresh servers, hi Cushmaster. Split the dates, hurts hype. Completely agreed. I also sort of agree with you that it probably is the right decision for the dupes and bugs and stuff like that. My counterpoint to that is they should be more confident about Brimstone. They should be more confident with the work that they've done, and we shouldn't have to rely on, you know, paid beta testers basically. So the downside to that is, Jay, we might end up at Cyberpunk. Haha, they paid testers, and that was a total fail. Hey, there's no perfect solution, I guess, but if you paid your beta testers, you could then maybe have a shorter PTR window, which then sort of hyped it up a little bit more. The bug and dupe never happened. When Brim hit live, it will pop to fresh. Yeah, exactly. Like, if fresh pops anyway, people will find it just then instead of Brimstone. So I sort of agree. The lack of endgame content and dev problem, patient player equal New World. Yeah. But I'm happy. I'm like happy to play the game right now. Like, I think it's good. Oh, I have to ban you. How do I hide user from this channel? There you go. Wrecked. Riggedy wrecked. Oh no! You're banned. There you have it. That was quick for me. If I'm in a game, it's actually quite hard to do that, but I managed to do this. But best adult dating site. Who clicks on links like this anyway? You know what I mean? Like, who is clicking on those links? I don't get it. Could have been the love of your life. I mean, I can read it to you. It's chat 69, I think. Which is, if I'm honest, if I was a lady looking for love, I would be going on chat 69. You know? That's just what I'd be doing. That's where I would, literally the first place I would think of. No, I would never foolishly click on these things. Look, I'm all for adult sites, sure, but nobody's going on these like dating websites. People are just using Tinder, mate. Like, people just use Tinder. What do you think? Like, come on. People who watch pool streams. Are there any pool streamers on YouTube, or is that like literally just a Twitch thing? New World player base, so patient, very optimistic. I hope they're not disappointing them. I mean, yeah. The players we have now and the players we've had in the last couple of months are obviously the patient people, so they have that going for them, and I think there's a lot of potential in the game. Now, whether or not New World can get to its potential before a game like Ashes of Creation or something like Throne of Liberty comes in and be like, hey, this is like New World, but we have everything better, you know, could happen. Salute. Jay, what can I say to you, mate? I know you do not have the better presence online, but you do have the best news regarding New World. Oh, I don't have the best presence online. I thought I was the #1 New World streamer of all time. I'm kidding, but thank you very much. Everybody thinks presence is everything, but it's not. I mean, I'm happy with everything I've got. You know, we're getting to like 5,000 subscribers. Things are going okay. You know, can we pull at the potential with the current dev? Can we get Keen 2? Keen 2's questions are very, very astute. I don't know if I can answer them. I'm so old, Tinder seems strange to me. What seems strange? It's basically dating, but people can't be bothered actually, you know, meeting friends of friends and stuff like that. That's how it used to be done, right? Katie, my wife, I know her from a friend. Do you know what I mean? I don't know her from an app. But I wouldn't have a problem with, if anything, with apps, you're more likely to find somebody you might actually have more in common with, if that makes sense, because your pool is a bit wider. But it is what it is. Throne of Liberty looks good, probably only until the pay to win cash walk. Yeah. Grave. That I think is the biggest worry with Throne of Liberty. There is going to be some pay to win in it. I'm personally going to play it. I do not normally play pay to win games, but at this point I'm happy to sort of just play it, have my fun. Not going to spend $15,000 and claim it's all for the lols. You know, I'm a little bit uncomfortable with content creators on Twitch and YouTube and stuff paying real money in pay-to-win games for content. Just be like, I think it's fun content. Like, no, just don't do it. Just don't give them the money. Blizzard didn't deserve your Diablo money. Don't give it to them. Like, we're teaching them, we're rewarding bad habits. I have a massive problem with that. You're doing great. I love your content. I like your vibe. I like my vibe too. My vibe is possibly one of a little bit weirdness, but I don't know how that comes across on videos. I'll just tell you a little story. Okay, we were listening to, my wife started singing Justin Bieber, Baby, Baby, and I told her a story of how I was in one of the roughest pubs you will ever imagine, and they were doing a karaoke night, and I was with work, and we went out, and I started this night out with work. By the way, I don't drink. I've not drank in about 7 years, but I started the evening out with 2 shots of Sambuca and then a double vodka Red Bull, right? And I got into this rough pub, and I was like, you know what I'm gonna sing? Justin Bieber, Baby. Look, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I have some... Thankfully, the end of that story is actually quite good. We had to leave beforehand. I probably came quite close to losing my life on that night. Probably quite, touch and go, but I was off my head. But I don't know why your story, just because me and my wife were speaking about it before. Traumatic experience with Korean MMOs. Yes, I can imagine so. Thank you, Cool the Fool. In my head, I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I was like, I'm gonna go in, sing this really rough pub. Everybody hates Justin. I'm gonna go in and sing Justin Bieber. Thankfully, I think like we had a restaurant, like a appointment, whatever you call it, reservation. I did not get to sing Justin Bieber, Baby, Baby. You know what's worse? I literally can't sing. I've got a terrible voice. It would not have gone well. I agree, it encourages their watchers. Yeah, so that's the problem I have, Grave. It's like it sort of normalizes pay to win. And I think everybody should do the opposite of that. I think we should, even if you enjoy the game, like Throne of Liberty, if it's pay to win, I'm going to be like, yo, this game is pay to win, but I'm playing it anyway. Like, that's what I'm going to do. I mean, yeah. Was it a meme? I don't think we even had memes back then. Your vibe is nerdish. Oh, I'm a nerd. Unbelievable. I've only been to Star Trek conventions many times. But thank you very much. You're doing great. 5 months. Pay to lose game. It's a pay to lose game. True. I think if you are paying to win, you're losing in life, because I don't know. Not that's harsh. You're not losing in life, but you're losing. I don't know. It's just not good. I hope we can eliminate it, but you know what? I'm going to be really tempted. It's going to be really difficult to be like, hey, I'm not going to pay for a leveling boost or something like that. I must confess, in World of Warcraft, before Shadowlands came out, Raid Shadow Legends, before World of Warcraft Shadowlands came out, I paid for a level boost. I was like, I can't bother leveling. I've leveled in World of Warcraft many times. If it's that kind of thing, I'll begrudgingly pay it. But it doesn't necessarily mean I think it's right. Do you know what I mean? I think everybody has that in your own behaviour sometimes. You can do things that you know is wrong, but you sort of still want to do it anyway. We've all had that post, onanism feeling. Yeah, I'd happily pay for level boost. On God, yeah, I'm not happily paying for level boost, because there's always that argument of why don't you make your leveling experience like easier, which I'm a little bit surprised that with Brimstone Sands we're not getting a leveling boost, right? Not for fresh, because that wouldn't make any sense, but for normal servers, I would have thought that it would have made sense now to do a level boost. You could actually get rid of fresh and put in a paid level boost, and I actually think I'm surprised they've not done that, because I'm not sure about crafting, Dutsy. I'm not sure about crafting, I've got to confess, but I have no qualms with a paid level boost to get to max level. And I'm surprised, because they could have used the argument of, well, we did just make leveling easier. We literally just cut it in half. So you could now either pay to skip it, or you can just go ahead and level at a much easier rate. It's your call. Like, I'm surprised they didn't do it. I'm a little bit shocked by that in a sense. If not now, I'm not sure when they're going to do it. I actually believe that this is when they planned on doing it a year and a bit ago. But whether or not they've changed their mind just because they're not happy with the public outcry, I don't know. And yes, I think paying for your crafting, I think would be too much. However, a potion that made it so that you got more experience might not be that bad. Imagine if they did a thing like Warframe where you can buy recost boosters and poop. That would be trash, honestly. I'm not 100% sure. I've not played Warframe. Well, I've played it, but like for like 5 minutes. Yeah, I don't disagree, by the way. I do not disagree that you should improve the leveling experience. So maybe they will put in the level boost once they've reworked 25 to 60 as well. Once they've done that, then I think they have an argument to say, look, now you can pay to catch up kind of thing. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I spend a lot of gold I earn from those quests buying gear from the marketplace. I have no idea what to do once I hit level 60. How to gear up at max level. What role should I play? Nothing of your guides, so they keep up. Okay. VPEX, let's break that down just a little bit. So, the first thing you want to do when you hit to level 6, I have a video coming out about this. I've already written it. I just need to record it and edit it and stuff like that. And it's not going to be the next video, it'll be in a few. But what you want to do when you hit level 60 is you want to get your expertise up. You want to get your expertise to 600, right? You're going to want to do that. You're going to need to do that. You might as well do it. The way to do that casually or even hardcore is to do gypsum. Oh, another one of these. I got rid of you. Another one of those. How many did he post before I got rid of him? Same website. Very, very determined. They know their audience. But the way to do that is gypsum. So I don't necessarily have a full gypsum guide, but the guide that I made recently talking about like what to do every day, the gypsum section of that is probably quite handy, and so is Danny's checklist. If you really want to get your expertise to 600 quickly, the best thing is probably to farm expeditions. Just do as many expeditions as you can per day, basically. Depending where you are up to though. If you're already expertise 600, then we have another conversation. I'm not sure I heard you say this, Jay, or someone else, but I heard them making the game free to play up to a certain level. So, Meepsy, what I think I've said before is I think what they will do, I honestly believe this, and I know people are like, what? This is madness. I think that in October or November next year, we will get a paid expansion for this game. And I think at that point, the level experience from 1 to 60 might become free. That will be sort of the entry point to the game. You'll be able to level from 1 to 60, or maybe they'll put an arbitrary limit on it to be like 30 or something like that, so you don't get bots or whatever. Maybe they'll put a limit on it. But I think at that point you'll be able to play free. But I think you won't be able to do the end game content unless you pay. That's my personal feeling. You can buy recost boosters on Warframe that double your gain. Yeah, doubling your XP, I think actually is sort of the not that bad way of doing it. If you can get like both your level XP like that, if you can get your profession XP like that, then I don't necessarily have a massive problem with it. It's very similar to a lot of other games, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, etc. New World is probably going to do it at some point, so it's just a case of when do they decide to pick the moment and when do they actually do it. The answer, obviously, I have no idea. I don't know when they're going to do it. Geek Boy, of course, you can 100% get my opinion on something. I mean, no, I was good. Are there any subjects I wouldn't give you my opinion on? Probably not. I'm pretty sure my opinions are all okay, broadcastable. AGS should have done only 2 crafting careers per character. Yes, so Paul, I actually agree with you there. I would like to see maybe a specialization be introduced, whereas maybe you can only pick, hey, you want to be an armorer? You can be an armorer and a weaponsmith, or something like that. I think they need to specialize crafting a little bit more. Otherwise, you become you're literally a jack of all trades and a master of them all at the same time. And I think that's like probably counterproductive to crafting, because everybody can craft everything, and I don't really like it. Ebonheart's going to have to explain what the Final Fantasy approach is, because I actually don't know. I've never played Final Fantasy, so multi-talent character, but I think the game needs the limitations of the player base. Yeah, it's weird because what we're advocating for is inconvenience, but I've maintained that I think inconvenience is actually good for the game. I was not one of these people who was not happy, that's the wrong phrase, but linking all of the crafting stations and stuff like that and linking the trading post weirdly just creates like a more bland experience. Yes, I get that traveling back and forth was a pain, But I actually didn't mind when going from Morningdale to First Light sort of felt like I had to make that decision. Whereas now I can do it and I don't have to think about it. I just do it. There wasn't any pressure on that decision. There wasn't any pressure on the movement. So, yeah. One problem I currently have with the game is mutations. No one does the mid-level. Completely agree. We spoke about that very briefly before. The low-level mutations are getting a little bit of a buff when it comes to Umbral Shards in the next patch. Hopefully that will actually see like a boost to people doing them. Because now there's less pressure to do the M8s at plus. You can do an M5, an M6 or whatever and just out gear score it and still get decent shards. So hopefully that becomes better and people are actually doing them. Obviously if you play fresh that generally won't be an issue. I can't believe they haven't changed enemy sacred. Yeah, J-Law, I'm not sure why that's so difficult. How do they make the enemy healing circles just like green? I mean, even if they're like, well, we don't have a colorblind option. I would just make them a random color for now and then sort out the colorblindness later. I think. Oh, Dutsy, what was I saying? I was saying that the low level mutations are getting a buff with the Umbral Shards, so that might end up getting fixed. And Ebonheart says in Final Fantasy XIV you can level all classes and professions on one character. Yeah, see, you can do that. You basically can do that in New World, right? You can level every weapon. You can level every trade skill. You can basically be anything you want in New World because it doesn't have classes. The problem is, it then means everybody's everything. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to be an armorer. There's no speciality when it comes to armoring. So everybody's sort of like armoring 200. There should be, or you think there should be limits? Yeah, I don't know what the limit should be, but yeah, it sounds like a good system. I like that system, but I then think you sort of need to somehow specialize it. Maybe you should have it. Does anybody in World of Warcraft Classic? I think it was. Yeah, Classic, where blacksmithing you had to pick armoring or weaponsmith. Like maybe they have that, and they made it so you can swap between the two, but it's just not very easy to swap between the two. Maybe they should do that kind of thing. Obviously, I'm streaming, I can't necessarily think too much about it. Henry says, get to 200, pick 2, that will go from 250. Yeah, the problem with doing that now, Henry, is people are going to be like, well, why did I get to 200 in the first place? But I don't necessarily hate it. The problem is New World want to make everything crafting exclusive, not by the crafting career, but by the crafting recipe. But as far as I play, I can count not more than 10 recipe exclusive in the game. Yeah, and a lot of the crafting is just random. It's just like, get random, get a great piece of gear. And it's like, great. World crafting sucks, New World is crafting just fine. Yeah, no, so I agree with you, but I actually enjoyed that sort of role-playing experience when it came to WoW, that sort of weaponsmith or armorsmith. I thought that was quite good in World of Warcraft. Classic, I'm talking there, by the way. You'd like to see Necromancer? Wouldn't a Necromancer be really cool? They could do like, maybe that's the, not the Void Gauntlet, Celestial Gauntlet? Maybe they can think of a better name for it. Maybe it's the Angry Earth Staff. No, it doesn't really make any sense. Maybe it'd be a Lost Staff or something. I don't know. A Necromancer would be cool. Maybe you don't get max power on everything, but you can do everything, but you've got to pick 2 weapons. Yeah. I mean, as long as you could then switch, but you maybe just don't make switching very easy. I wouldn't necessarily do it for weapons. I'd do it for professions, personally, but you know. Yeah. Yeah. I'd be okay with that. You shouldn't be locked in. I like not being locked into anything that I can just change. But I'm not really playing any other guilds. I'm not playing any other classes in New World at the minute because gear management is so poor. Hey, thank you very much, Phil. It's a pleasure to have you here. Oh, Geekboy says, what's it like when you first started content creation on YouTube? I'm thinking of getting into it, my opinion on games and in general. Oh, that is a very wide question. What's it like when you first get started? When you first get started on YouTube, it's actually quite demoralizing. Sorry to just put it like that. But you'll spend a lot of time making your videos, and there's a very good chance that the videos won't be viewed. One thing I would say is you have to try and be as critical as possible with yourself. So if somebody else is making similar videos to you, and they're getting views and you're not, then you have to try and find out why, and you have to try and improve. And that's not necessarily always the case. If I made a YouTube channel about this one paintbrush, I might find the only 5 people who are interested in this 5 paintbrush in the world. If your audience is that niche, you might not have a problem. However, ultimately, it's a quite competitive space if you're going to have any kind of sizable audience. Therefore, you just need to try and improve, which is very harsh. So it's quite demoralizing. I'd say try and commit to it for like 6 months. Just say to yourself, I'm going to make 1 video every week for 6 months, or I'm going to make 2 videos a week for 6 months. You need to give it time. I see a lot of people give up before they give it time. So that was a long-winded answer. I'll now read some more stuff. Wordcrafting, so I read that before. When do I think there'll be another weapon after Brimstone? Yeah, so there are some, I mean, in Brimstone, there's a couple of new weapons that I saw. Well, in the leveling experience, there's that pike. There's like a big, it's not a spear, it's a big pike, basically. It looked a bit weird, but I quite liked it. And there's also somebody wielding a shield and an axe, a one-handed axe. So they could do that anytime. I think we'll see that on the roadmap, and I think we'll see either 2 or 3 weapons on the roadmap, honestly. Which should be pretty cool. How about we make all the name drop from expeditions, not drop the gear that they drop? The part of the name gear so that all players need crafter. Yeah, Keen. So what I would like to see, and when with raids this might become a lot more easy to do. What I would love to see is like end game content give you something that you need to craft with and make crafting less random. Make it difficult to craft the good stuff, or make it so that you need a lot of it. So having it so you can convert 250 orichalcum into Tolvium or Cinnabar, whatever it is actually the kind of thing I would like to see. If that makes sense. Like, I want to make crafting harder, but then make it less random. It's the way I would like to see it go. One of the most important things about content creation is audio quality. Absolutely true. The first thing you should invest in is a microphone. People will stop watching a video because of the audio. Very rarely, well, it happens a lot less that people stop watching because of the visual quality, right? So, I plan on having a guild? Not necessarily, but check out on the Discord. I'll probably ping people and tell people where I'm going. There's a couple of people that I know who are starting companies on Fresh, and maybe I'll just join them. So that'll be like a decent place to like join in. Jared says, amazing. I'm not 100% sure what is amazing, but Ebonheart says there's only 2 real routes. There's mass production, or you try and force a lot of quality videos. That I agree with Ebonheart. The one thing I would say in counter to that basically is you don't know which to pick when you start. So I would say just pick something and then start making videos on it. And then the quality and quantity debate you can figure out in another world. For example, Ebonheart makes really good quality videos, but they take him longer to make. Whereas I make, I'm not going to say bad videos, but I make quantity, that makes sense. I make a lot of them. Yeah, in general. Trying to do dungeons and transition to tank, I find it gets pretty toxic. I agree with you, Dylan, unfortunately. People are not very patient. You'll have that problem, I think, in every single MMO. People just want to do things quickly and efficiently, and the learning can be an absolute pain in the backside. So I don't have any advice for you, Dylan, apart from be persistent. You get better at it, people stop complaining, and that's unfortunate. The Crushmaster's right. Ward gear is very good for tanking, and obviously making sure you're using the right the right gems. Yes, I am an EU Central, Miguel. Yeah. For now, myself, I'm not seeing any exclusivity from name items that we get from expeditions. It's just plain taste. Yeah, I would personally love to see the elimination of random... I'd like to see it flipped on its head. Right now, best in slot is basically random gear in general, right? I would love to see named gear be the best in slot and random gear be the supplementary stuff. Now, the problem with that is Mutations 10 would be the only place to really get this stuff, or I think I'd like to see really good gear come from ranked PvP as well, essentially. High quality and quick. I watch all the videos here. They're a lot easier to digest than all the other new mode content creators. Thank you very much, Evan Hart. I do really appreciate that. That's one thing that, in a way, it's the way I was trying to stand out a little bit, is that I try and do my videos. They're not amazing, but for the time that I have, to the speed at which I release, I try and make them as best I can. That makes sense. That's sort of where I'm trying to position myself. If I wanted, I could make a video quicker, right? But it would be, in my opinion, it'd be less good. I'm not going to name names or anything like that because I don't want to call anybody out. But the speed at which I got, it's like a speed and quality issue, basically. I agree, but I got massively chewed out because I was still learning tank and didn't do well. Dylan, I think you would probably have to try and find a guild or company, basically, and try and have to actually play with people who are going to be a bit more patient. I think playing with randomers is going to cause you a bit of problem. Ask for training. Oh yeah, as Lost says, ask for training people. Be like, yo, I'm a fresh tank. I'm going to learn the mechanics in this dungeon. Like, please join. You know what I mean? People come along and help. I hope named item is the base, not random drop. Yeah, Keen, that's exactly what I want. I want to farm good gear. I don't want to craft in a gambling simulator. Like, I just don't like that. Well, that's why I'm thinking about giving my opinions on different kinds of games instead of focusing on just one game. Geek Boy, it's another topic of conversation. If you want to hit me up on Discord, I would absolutely love to talk to you about this kind of stuff. The one thing I would say, it's way easier to grow a channel based around one game. Because look at this simple fact, right? And I've not seen a New World Fresh Discord. Your viewer is the most important thing, right? If I make a video on New World, I'm a New World channel. YouTube and my view knows which viewers are interested in New World. It goes, hey, watch this New World video. If I then make a video, say, about football, I know it's not a video, let's pick a video game, FIFA, then the people who watch my New World videos are not going to watch my FIFA videos. They're not interested in it. There'll be some of them, sure. There'll be some people who'll be like, this channel is my perfect combination of things. But they'll be less interested. So it's another topic of conversation that actually variety is much harder to do than a singular focused channel. Recommendation in general is to try and focus on one thing and then spread out. You see that quite a lot. It's not for everybody though. Sometimes you're actually better starting with the variety and just trying to be like quality. So it's quite difficult to do. I wish it was named gear. It would make learning BIS for specific builds a lot easier. Yeah, exactly. I'd love to have BIS lists to be like, you know, World of Warcraft has it now. There's like pre-raid BIS and people know where to farm it and you can just go ahead and farm it. It's really nice. Whereas to have crafted gear be like, okay, you're going to craft this like 300 times using about 1 billion Asmodeum and you know what? You still might not get it. As long as you're not painting minis. Hey Mike, wait. Are you referring to Josh Strive Hayes or are you talking about my brush? I've been painting, I'll tell you what I've been painting. I've been painting these are black. I have my paint scheme is black, white and purple. But this is a Stormtrooper, hopefully. He's a little, he's just black at the minute. I've only contrast painted him and now I can see that he's got a funkiness on his arm. I wonder where that's come from. Very difficult. Is that actually there? Or is it fake though? Well, there's a white bit. I've got to tell you, I hate the contrast paints. Just an FYI for anybody interested in wargaming. Really dislike contrast paints. Anyway, here's what it is. You might be talking about Josh Strife Hayes. And I'll be like a fool. I think crafting is going to be a good spot with the Golden Scarab. Yeah, I personally still hate the randomness. You get a Golden Scarab, you pick 2 perks, and then you have a 5 in 6 chance of it not being legendary. Oh god. Blood Angels for the win. Oh no. I'm not a 40k guy, I gotta admit. No wrong with painting minis. Yeah, I agree. I'm painting minis. I just don't like contrast paint. It's absolute pain in the backside. What do you think is that way to get all the named items from each expedition now? So I think they're a little bit scared of making crafting worthless. Right, you had a Darth Vader statue. I have a Darth Vader somewhere. He's in my little box. I've got all my stuff on the floor. I'm not going to find him. That'll be a pain in my backside. I think they're a little bit scared of making crafting redundant for no difficulty. So I think they think that a mutated 10 run is too easy in comparison to the chance of getting it from a crafting person, just random crafting it. I disagree with them, but that's what I think they think. I do think when we get raids, ranked PvP, and then like crafted items that are requiring materials from here, there and everywhere, I think we'll see a better sort of like balance between the two. I think raids will give you the best PvE stuff. I think ranked PvP will give you the best PvP stuff. And I think crafting you'll sort of be able to like get sort of maybe like tier 2 BIS, if you will, which you'll then also get you'll get from mutations and you'll get from the PvP reward track. I think there'll be like this sort of 2-tiered system basically. You'll have like the top end content and then you'll have like the secondary content and that'll include mutations, crafting and stuff like that. When is the revamp? So, G Strew, you're probably going to want to play the fresh servers on the 2nd of November. Technically, the revamp 1 to 25 is coming on the 18th of October. But if you're going to play it, I would recommend fresh. Play fresh on the 2nd of November, basically. I wouldn't play it. I wouldn't just play on the new. I wouldn't play with everybody already. You might as well play fresh. At this point, if you've not already started, you should play fresh. Equilibrium Play says, as much as I don't like them, I think they should do a season pass. I don't think most people will not get upset. I sort of agree with you. I think they need more monetization. I think they need a transmog system and then a battle pass that has like transmogs in it, maybe like experience boosts. I mean, they're just going to do it at some point. I think they might as well just do it. So it's true that the leveling revamp is only 1 to 25. Post 1 to 25, post 25 as in after 25, so 26 to 60, there's not that much difference apart from the fact that you have to do quests. Doing the town boards is not going to get you anywhere, basically. They have already made millions, but so they don't need to do this stuff, but I think at some point they're going to do it, like it's inevitable. And you know, I don't know, maybe this is just my life. When something bad's going to happen, I just want to get it over with. Do you know what I mean? So they're not making, I don't know how much money they're making right now, but I don't necessarily think money is the big reason for having New World. That sounds absolutely crazy. For most businesses, it obviously is super important, but Amazon have a bigger play here that is completely different than our usual MMO standards. So are they making enough money? Maybe. They'll make that money back when they sell an expansion, as long as the expansion is good. So let's see. I'm not against a business battle pass, but they need to make visual progression better. It feels like, yes, so I agree with you. They need a transmog system or A&D. They need a transmog system. Having paid skins and no transmog system means that you are basically reliant on paid skins. There is no alternative. Possibly Paul. I think they just didn't know what. There's a big story there. I think they didn't know where they were going from the start. Obviously, they had that survival game in hand. I think the sci-fi MMO will be a lot more consistent. You'll see more traditional MMO stuff. Sounds like John Smedley's working on that, and he's somebody who was working on EverQuest and EverQuest Next. And EverQuest Next, I have to say, was one of my... Man, I was so excited for that game. Which, weirdly, I should be excited for Ashes of Creation for the same reason. But I don't know, Ashes of Creation to me is like a poor man's version of EverQuest Next, even though it never actually came out. But it had my heart, do you know what I mean? So I really, really wanted it to be the thing. They made a killing with server transfer tokens, probably true. I literally am giving them money this week. I transferred over to a really low pop server and found some Moricalcum. Not feeling bad about it either, I'm happy with it. I really need to make use of that. Find out when the low time is and go farm some more, actually. New World has to be good to promote Lumberyard, I believe. They've moved on from Lumberyard, it sounds like, if we're honest, Ruby. Like, the new MMO, that sci-fi MMO that we're talking about, sort of sounded like they're doing it on Unreal Engine. So, if I'm honest, I think Lumberyard is effectively dead. I don't think it's coming back, necessarily. I'll be very, very surprised if they stick with it for future games, basically. 6 years from now, we're going to have laser guns in New World, I hope. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see skins, like a musket firing lasers. That actually sounds sort of cool. Thank you. I was thinking about creating content for New World, but between you, Junior Prime... Oh, no. Right. You're actually an editor for one of them? Oh. So you're not Jack, so you're not Slender's editor, I don't think. So I don't think Damone really uses an editor. I don't think Ginger Prime uses an editor. So I think you're Parfax's editor. That's my guess, right? But Geek Boy, do not let competition put you off. If the market is big enough, you will just have to try it anyway. Because the problem with that attitude is that you'll either pick a market that's too small to be any kind of value to yourself, or you'll never do it. So I strongly encourage you to do it. New World, talk to me on Discord. I'll try and help. Absolutely try and help. Amazon doesn't work like other companies. They generate so much money, they have to waste it. Hence why so many failed projects and random things. Yeah, and they've got this sort of like... they've got a bigger plan at play. Like, you know, everybody's laughing at Facebook and Meta because Meta's crap, right? But if you're ever going to get to like a Meta universe with VR, yes, it's going to take years, but MMOs are not a bad way of getting there. They want your data, you know, they want you. If they don't waste it, they have to pay tens of millions, billions in tax. True. It will effectively be a write-off for them. They're not making, you only pay profit, you only pay tax really on profits, I would guess. And if you're not making profits, then you don't pay the tax. So they might as well pay the people and try it. It's like an experiment. They might as well do it. I'm on Valhalla and I struggle to find iron, weedwood, and stone metal. Surprisingly, orichalcum isn't that bad. Oh, well, find the orichalcum, you know. Do whatever's easiest for you, I think. But yeah, so definitely. Oh, bad joke official. Sorry, I didn't see you there. Hello, how are you? Please continue and tell me a bad joke. Like, I feel like this has to be the tradition, right? Otherwise, how can I live without knowing a bad joke? So yeah, we got a little bit off track. Fresh, I think, will be very interesting to see. I'm curious if they're going to do their big marketing push for Brimstone or Fresh. I thought it was coming for Brimstone. But maybe they'll do it for Fresh, you know. Maybe they'll see. I got some 1.6k views on my video in a long time. Al Gore is actually AJ Gore. I don't know, it just reminded me of Al Gore. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm not sure the context of that statement. And yeah, I'm very well. Very well. So the plan is, as I said, I'm going to start streaming every Sunday. We'll just come on. We'll talk about the news. Igor. It makes so much sense now that you say it like that. Igor. Okay. I'm normally okay with pronunciations, but I absolutely completely bastardized that, unfortunately. Yeah, I'll just do every Sunday. We'll try and get it consistently. 7 o'clock. I know you're all online because it's peak New World time. So you can play New World and you can listen to me, goddammit. Come on. That might be a problem if we ever end up doing raids. Maybe Sunday night will be raid time. Maybe I'll have to change it. But for now, we're sticking with it, right? I guess worst case scenario, I can move it to Saturday. Surely the wife won't mind, right? As long as I buy a... I was going to say flowers, but you actually don't like flowers, so that wouldn't make any sense. Oh, let me have a drink. I've nearly finished my little bottle. Yeah, player retention is going to be an issue. I will say, anecdotally, I am seeing a lot of people I used to play with come back. Like, I was in somebody's chat on Twitch who was in a company of mine. Well, it wasn't mine, company I was in. And he's come back and he was streaming it. And I was like, oh, that's a sign. And there was people in the chat who were in the company. And he's like, yeah, we're going to come back. No, they're actually coming back for Fresh. They're already level 60, but they're like, let's do Fresh. And I'm like, nah, I can't bother re-leveling, you know what I mean? So the question of what's going to bring back hype versus what, I really don't know the answer. Is Fresh the main factor that's bringing people back? I don't know. I'm a little bit disappointed with the timing. I honestly don't... I know so many people are excited for it, but I almost don't think they should have done Fresh. Like, I think they should have just taken the hit and been like, we'll do Fresh before an expansion. But on the other hand, as Ebonite says, it's going to bring a lot of people back. But again, we all don't know about the retention. And that retention is going to be very, very questionable. I think there'll be enough for one server per region, probably. So I think in that sense, it should be good. I really, really hope they merge them servers quickly. They should not let it get to like last time. People were very rightly annoyed last time that people were playing on servers where it was like 200 full. And the reason we had people going from server to server and then the server dying and then another server dying and then this server getting popping off and then getting locked was because they didn't merge the servers correctly, which made it feel like every server was dying. However, cross-realm. Once you have cross-realm, it doesn't really matter that much that your server's dead. However, cross-realm with fresh servers doesn't really make sense. So that's another issue. So yeah, there's quite a few things to be sort of vaguely concerned about, and not really concerned about, but like curious about. I think you'll probably be able to transfer off a fresh start. There's no reason to do that. So you should be able to play on fresh and then move. So I don't really have a Probably not. Sounded a little bit like thunder and lightning. I just hope they've managed to get rid of the turtle companies on Barry. Majority of territories are owned by one company. Yeah, so everybody, I agree. Like, one, there's that thing where you have a war cooldown. That's apparently coming, I think. I've not actually seen that confirmed, but it's difficult to test. But people are like, oh, you'll see companies with multiple alts. I'm like, mate, if somebody wants to level an alt and just have them on a different account just to do the war, let them. They're way more dedicated than me. I'm just going to fight in like bloody first... what's it called? Cutlass Keys. What's it called? First Light. I'm just going to fight for these crap out of territories and have fun. Mike says, I already have 2 over 60s. Do you think I'll be able to play fresh? Yes, Mike. So, it's half been confirmed. Katie mentioned this on Twitter. It's very likely that they're going to do a 3rd character slot. So you're probably in luck. Not confirmed, but very, very likely. At the end of the day, even on Fresh Start and Legacy servers, people will be on the same state. Yeah, like a Fresh Start server, when we get an expansion, probably completely redundant. Do you know what I mean? So you might as well just merge them at that point. It's a shame Bozo has say in his game, and that's why they say such stupid stuff. Eric, sorry, I'm not 100% sure what you mean there. They killed shell companies? Yeah, exactly. So shell companies are pretty much going away, unless you're super, super sweaty, which, whatever. Crack on with your life. That ain't me. After 3 months, everybody can transfer to the new server, I think. I don't think they're doing that, Igor. Or at least that wasn't confirmed, to my knowledge, but maybe they will. They need to let more people on servers. So we're already at 2,500 and resources are getting a bit of an issue. So I'm not sure we need to see more just yet. And Geek Boy, yeah, I'll absolutely check that after the stream. If that's okay, obviously I'm not going to check yet. As I said, I do encourage you to do it, even if there's competition. Do not worry about it. One thing I would say is pick something that you like. If you don't like the thing, you will find it really difficult. So, my bad. It is Bozo bashing as he loves 45. I don't know who Bozo is. I do apologise. I'm not sure I understand the context, unfortunately. But yeah. How about the roadmap? What do I think will show us? So we had a very brief chat about that. I think obviously leaderboards we're gonna see, gear management we'll see, new weapons we'll see, new dungeons we'll see. Ranked PvP, whether or not that's leaderboards or not. I think we might see conquest. I think we might see territory. Oh, Bezo, as in like Jeff Bezos. Okay. Somebody mentioned guild halls. That could happen. I think we may. No, I don't think. I was going to say we might see a new territory. I don't actually think we're going to see a new territory. I just don't. I don't feel like it. I got it. I'm with it now. I do think we might see a PvP quest rework. So I think we'll see a system where you basically have to capture forts to take over the conquest, and maybe that'll be a place where you can get world PvP. I think we'll have it so that we're going to have a reason to go to a place and fight. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Jedi, arena team queues are now dead, ranked is needed. Yeah, I can't say I'm displeased with that. By the way, quick question. Does anybody know what happens if you queue as a duo? I don't understand this ranked. I don't understand. Do you get put into the solo queue? Or do you get put into the team queue? Because it must be the solo queue, right? Because otherwise, you can't play. Like, you'd get matched with a solo. Do you know what I mean? I'm not 100%. PvP ship battles would be absolutely legendary, and Danny on Danny TV would absolutely love it. But I'm not 100% sure it would make any sense. I prefer solo queue. So weirdly, two-mans is actually the best way of playing, is to double queue, which is fine. I don't have a problem with it. Even with 3-stack. Yeah. Marine exploration will be dope. Yeah, man, if we get ships, I mean, yeah, we'll be talking about it. The bottom line is if they keep improving people's state. Sure, I agree with you. Lost Hippie says, jealous Nick for Bezos. I mean, I am a little bit jealous of Bezos's money. Just imagine living the life, just being able to do whatever the hell you like. Man, that'd be nice. Bad joke, I don't agree with gathering being mandatory PvP. I know a lot of people like it, but I think it would kill the game. No way they let duo. They do let. It appears that they let duo queue in solo queue. That appears to be what it is. A restriction right now, so a 3-man can carry a match with all solo. No, there isn't. No, Nagrenda. That's changed in the last patch. Let's see if we can get this up. In the last patch, they added a sneaky patch note where they made a solo queue. And they said they were going to do it in the dev update, but I think they apparently did it in this patch. Yeah, they did it. They snuck this in. This wasn't in when I first saw it. So groups of 3 entering 3v3 arenas are now placed into a separate queue with teams of the same size. This will help prevent matches between pre-made groups and teams made of solo players. So that begs the question, what happened to duo players? Duo players go into the solo queue. So technically the best way to queue up is to duo queue if you're trying to absolutely maximize your play. Yep, tested it yesterday. Yeah, we tested yesterday for 2-man and 3-man. Nice. If that's true, is Amazon is Covenant code-wise? I see. No worries. They snuck this in. Would help solve the bot problem. I agree it would help solve the bot problem. It would unfortunately cause a player problem in that a lot of people would quit the game. I think, personally. But yeah, that is a very, like, I don't like the fact they snuck it in, because I didn't make a video on it, because I looked at all the other updates and I was like, yeah man, I really just don't care about these. And then I looked at this one, I was like, this is the biggest one in here. And it wasn't in here first. They added it later. Sneaky sods. Sneaky dee. Yes, me and my bro duo queue together and it's been better, I feel. Well, no. If you're duo queuing, you're actually likely against 3 solos. So you have an advantage now. They do need to ban bots. I think we can all agree. Bots should no longer be a thing. It's weird that Amazon don't have that technology out of all the companies. Like Amazon, Google, you'd think they would be able to solve them the most. But alas, poor Yorick, we do not have that information. Best fun I had in this game is ambushing a rival company on Silence Chess Run. Yeah, they actually need moderation. Oh, well, we can't afford that. We can't afford people. Those same playtesters, when they're not playtesting, could be the GMs. What did we just say? So we said about rival company. Yeah, so that ambushing. I would love to see hotspots in the open world. Not just one, because I don't think you need like 300 people descending on one place. You need several hotspots. And that way you can sort of like do your company versus company shenanigans in the open world. It would be so sweet. And Sahuka's in the building! How are you, Sahuka? I hope you're doing very well. What is my opinion about Solo Dungeons? Very excited for Solo Dungeons, Amol. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong there. Obviously, there appears to be only... Oh god, I didn't even know that was that quick. Sorry, Sahuka. I don't know when that was, but I completely missed it. I do apologise. When you do your YouTube video on solo queues, you should hate on the duo queues. Pole vault, I mean, I think it's an okay compromise. I don't hate on it, unfortunately. I know you might want me to, but I'm okay with that as a compromise, basically. At least for now, until you get cross-realm or something like that. I would have preferred the way I always said. I always wanted the same queue, but I wanted groups to get matched with groups and solos to get matched with solos as a preference, and then expanded out. That's what I would have liked to have seen, but, you know, I'll take this, it's fine. You're right, if AGS did ban the bots, you would absolutely see an increase in materials. However, you'd see an increase in profits going to the downtrodden among us. If you're not a super rich company owner, then the way you should be able to get gold is to go out and farm for like a couple of hours and make several thousand gold and take that gold away from those rich companies. With the bots being a thing, that is not really possible. It's a little bit like in real life with Amazon paying their staff nothing. It like cuts out, like it kneecaps them basically. I did miss the Julian Donner. I do apologize about that. I agree 100% with PvP zones. I hope Brimstone was going to be that. Yes, I thought that was going to be the case in Brimstone. I thought they would add more reasons to PvP. It was a little bit disappointing. I'm against, just to say, I know people might be like, what? I don't really like open world PvP being like mandatory. But I do think there should be some rewards that you get from open world PvP. And they should be like you know, it should be fun. That's hard to explain, but that is what I want to see. You want them to release 1,000 people servers? Ebenhard, I actually don't disagree with you. I would play on a low population server if we had cross-realm. The problem with a low population server is that you can't do most of the content. But if you could do most of the content because you can literally just do cross-realm, so I can always do an outpost rush, I can always do arena, I can always do an expedition, then I have no problem with the low population servers. If anything, I would probably have moved there so that I can be involved in the wars a little bit more. However, the changes to the game being so that everybody gets like a percentage of the overall gold hopefully means that even on a popular server, I can be one of the plebs fighting out over First Light or Cutlass Keys. I can be one of these like worst tier company owners. Not me, but my company. If that makes sense. Increase the luck yield and gathering for PvP. Yeah, so they have, you do get luck from PvP flagged. But it's just generally not worth it because dying ends up being a problem. So if this sort of like balance is that it literally comes down to this equation. Does dying outweigh the rewards of gathering? That's it. I think that's why they are holding off on releasing different game modes. It'll split up the player base based on the limited. Yeah. If you added another Outpost Rush and you called it Outpost Mush, I don't know, but it was literally a separate queue, then you have this situation where what are people going to queue for, and are there enough players? You would almost have to do this system where you have one queue for either of the game modes, and then you just randomly get put into it. But whether or not, that's going to be difficult. Griefing would be a problem in PvP zones. Yeah, I do not like the idea of mandatory PvP. I really don't like it. Optional PvP, I think, is actually good. The only game-changing opportunity I see with Fresh servers is PvP Fresh. Sai, I really strongly do not want them to do a PvP only server. The reason being for that is I think once you do PvP only servers, they then have, as a company, they then have less incentive for the rest of us. For the people who play on a PvE server, or not PvE, but you know what I mean, like a optional PvP server, we then have less reason to have open world content created for us. With the optional open world PvP content. I don't want to be playing two separate games like original WoW Classic. Like WoW went the opposite way. It had this sort of mandatory servers where in certain zones you were PvP flagged, and then eventually they went to a war toggle, and I think the war toggle is better. But if you had both systems, either the toggle or mandatory, then I think it would give them an excuse to not make good open world PvP content. So I'm against it for my own personal nature. I appreciate some people would like that, and I don't diss people who want that. I just think it would actually hurt the game. I agree with you, Sucre. They can only really do it when they add cross-realm. Just stick on OPR, make a more variety. Yeah, they can call it Outpost Rush and just do a different map. I have no problem with that. I think about the small, good and organic PvP happening around good resource nodes. Yeah, no, it would be nice to see. PvP only server will be a server split in 3 and unbalanced. Exactly, like if you made it PvP flagged, made it PvP mandatory, everybody would be one faction. World of Warcraft is literally showing you that right now. Generally, all of the servers end up being 99% Horde or 99% Alliance. What you would see is you'd have 3 servers, one of them would be Syndicate, one of them would be Marauders, and one of them would be Covenant. It would not be the joyous occasion that I think people think it would be, unless you got rid of factions. And I don't want them to get rid of factions. So, I am against PvP servers. I'm going to write this down. This will be an opinion piece one day. I will write this down. Why I am against PvP servers. Single faction servers. Brackets WoW. And less content for the rest of us. However, I understand your desire to have more world PvP. I think the game should cater to us by having hotspots where world PvP makes sense. But guys, at the end of the day, don't enjoy the idea of PvP servers. We'll still have the regular servers. You say that, right? But WoW Classic, they literally had PvE servers and PvP servers, and the PvP servers ended up one faction dominated because they realised that going into Stranglethorn Vale and getting absolutely smashed every single time was no fun. Pole Vault, I actually wouldn't have a problem with that. I think you could just make it so that they give you more yield, or have like a PvP only zone where there's a lot more resources. So you could have a little area of the map where there's way more orichalcum than there normally is. I'd be okay with that. The PvP servers tilt. Exactly. The mentality, people just aren't up for it. Just get rid of the faction system. I mean, Keen, I that would be a massive overhaul to just get rid of it. RuneScape had a territory that was all PvP before he crossed it. Yeah, I don't mind. I wouldn't mind one zone where it was all PvP, as long as that zone didn't have anything in it that you couldn't get anywhere else. I'd be okay with that. Convenience is more important than fun and combat. Yeah, exactly. People don't want to just die. Like, it's not fun to go out into the open world and get killed by 5 people. It is fun to be like, oh, there's this PvP thing that's going on over here. Let's get a group of 5 of us and go into it. That's fun. The first one is not. So I think it needs to be optional for me. I don't mind these systems like Ashes of Creation and Throne of Liberty, where it's like, hey, you are basically, you can be killed, but the person who killed you is going to have like bad time. I'm not really a problem. I don't really have a problem with that. You know, Geek Boy, I don't really like mega servers as a concept. One, because of resources and stuff like that, you end up with layering. And 2, I like to get to know the people on my server. It's why ideally I wouldn't actually have Cross Realm. I think Cross Realm should be a backup, basically. I think they need to do it so that every queue tries to queue you against players on your own server, and then people on another server. Ideally. Mega servers are fine, as in they work completely okay. I just don't, that's just not the way I would like to see it, if that makes sense. It's just not my preference. Not that I have a massive problem with it. In reality, the mentality of now, especially farmers, they want open PvP to get benefit, but get angry when they're killed. Exactly, yeah, you'll get... It sounds good, but then you get killed and you're angry about it. So, quick question about these streams, guys. So we're happy with the time. I can always pick a subject that we're going to talk about. That's not necessarily a problem. Are we happy with the format's a little bit weird because there's no gaming going on. Should I play the game in the background, or would that be a distraction? Should I maybe prepare visuals like a PowerPoint? A PowerPoint would be weird, but you know what I mean? Maybe I could come at you with a little bit of stuff to show you. I tried to break it up a little bit by being like, hey, there's this patch note or whatever. Because I appreciate that just looking at me for an hour and a half might be quite boring. The Backpack Angler says play the game. It's weird because I think people are less interested. If I just played Outpost Rush, it would probably be a bit boring, right? I've done that before. It wasn't all that popular. So maybe I play the game. Maybe we do like a challenge. Be yourself. I'm always myself. Thank you. Oh, I'm blushing. I'm doing some stinky farts. It really, really smells. But maybe I can prep some slides or something, and maybe we could do some in-game challenges. You're the GOAT. Don't need additional content. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So nice. So nice. I just realised I had a mole here. Is it a mole? No, I get these things. I don't know if you guys get these things. When I get older, I'm getting these red dots. Just listening as I play, so I'm not bothered about the visual. Martin, that's sort of why I think on a Sunday night might be quite good to do these subjects, is that people are probably just listening to me in the background, I think, unless we're actually talking, obviously. You like the Q&A? Good, good. I'm happy to hear that. What do you think the end game content of New World now is? Just mutations? It should be mutations and ranked PvP. It should be ranked arena. And wars. Sorry, it should be those 3 things. And then eventually it should change to like raids being ahead of mutations, and then still ranked PvP and still wars. But we'll get that when we get that kind of thing. Like there should be like tiers of every different content. And I think farming should sort of be buffed a little bit. As in, I spoke about crafting. So if you turn crafting into you need more resources but it's less random, then I think you sort of buff that. They sort of need, the end game needs addressing in sort of its balance. Really, it's crafting randomness, which basically means wars because that's how you get gold, and mutations 10. Everything else is sort of just for fun. Territory War, I believe just the elite players can enjoy it, if not all players. I agree with you at the minute. hopefully these new changes are going to solve that, but obviously I actually have no idea. They need to get off the expedition push and start putting raids out. So Pole Vault, they actually mentioned that raids are coming, so that is something we will see. It's happening, and they're going to lean into solo content. So I'm a big fan of that. I think solo content needs to be where you can basically go on and you have something to do that you can do solo, and it's actually going to benefit your character. We need to see that. It's sort of upsetting that it's taken them this long, but I'm very happy to hear them say it. 5v5 arenas, again, I would love to see it, but I think we would need cross realms. You start splitting your queue, you have less people in each of your queues. So we can't just have a million different game modes. These game modes need to be thought out a little bit. But I would love 5v5 as much as I like 3v3. It would be cool to see. I'd like to be able to play either. I like options, and no harm in having the options. Well, the thing is, I had one friend who wanted to play with me, but couldn't because my server was locked. Yes, locked servers. I disagree with them locking the servers right now. It's a pain in the backside. And I run a company, so it's not I can abandon my members. Mega server would fix it. You're right. You're not wrong. Yeah, I agree. I think the problem there for me is locked servers. Cross server only or cross region? What I mean is each region should be able to play together. So all of EU Central should be able to play together, is what I mean. What if we are able to fight with our mounts? So mounts are going to come, and if you're going to do mounted combat, that's going to get really crazy. When I see hemp or when I see hyssop or hemp, I gather. Oh, I gather like everything basically, unless I'm busy. But yeah. Okay, guys, I don't know if you can hear, but I'm getting a bit blocked up. I don't know why I get this, but after I start talking a lot for like 2 hours, my voice becomes weird. But that is the plan. We're going to do these streams every week. We're going to go at least till the end of the year, and then we'll probably like reconsider if this is the right time and everything. We will be doing events as well. Obviously, if I can do an event like a dev update or something like that, I will do. If we can do maybe in-game events, I will do. If we can do like the Game Awards, obviously I will do that kind of thing. We'll do those. So we'll see. Demon Kim, yeah, so base building used to be in alpha. So they sort of probably have the technology to do some base building. Not sure how it would fit into the game right now, but it'd be nice to see. Gather all the nodes, just gather everything. But yeah, thank you so much for the stream today. It's absolutely been a pleasure. I really appreciate the conversation. I hope you all enjoyed it. We spoke briefly about the format, so it sounds like we're mostly on board. I know somebody wanted me to play the game. How are the new changes going to stop monopolizing the map? So it sounds like you're going to have a war cooldown. Sounds like you're going to have you need to have 35 people from the same company in the war, and it sounds like you can't change company more than once every 3 days, something like that. So there's some changes that should sort of stop it a little bit. Not eliminate it, but like quite a bit. I mean, I need to confirm it, but there's no wars on the PTR, so it's really hard to see. Yeah. I would have been a YouTube member, but your boys broke. Oh, absolutely. If money is a problem, do not become a YouTube member. Like 100%, do not do it. You need your money more than I need your money. You know, I'm trying to do something completely separate from you. You should not feel bad or consider me in any way, shape, or form. You live your life. And they're very persistent. I don't know how many accounts this guys have got, but they're very persistent. Best adult dating site. Well, we'll see about that in a minute when I go and check it out. Let me confirm if that's accurate or not. Obviously, do not click on that link. It will be absolute crap. One major thing I think New World needs to address is gold sink. Oh, I mentioned this to somebody the other day. For me, there is not enough gold going out of the market, and I do not understand how Amazon think this is okay. All the tax goes to players, all the crafting goes to players, all the resources are just people sharing gold between each other. Like, there's not gold doesn't seem to actually leave the market apart from like the faction store, and maybe they skim a bit off the tax, but I don't know if that's really enough. There needs to be like shops where you can just buy stuff for gold in game. Maybe like a special kind of potion that you just go and buy with gold. They need to take money out of the economy. So maybe you should be able to buy skins for gold. You know, and that sounds crazy, but I actually think that would make sense, right? take the gold out of the economy. I'm going. I'm off. My throat's killing me, so I'm off. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I do really appreciate it. I said there'll be another stream next week. I'll have a video tomorrow. What is the video about tomorrow? Can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, thank you so much. I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit nasally. It's what happens after I talk for a while. Yeah, love you all. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful evening. Hope work's not that bad tomorrow. I know I'm very upset about it. There's a song that I like. It goes, I can't remember that, but it goes, Sunday night always has a sense of something good about to end, my dear. I can't remember can't remember the tune. Crossover with next era. Oh, we'll see about that. Good job. Have a beautiful day, everybody. I hope you're all very well. Goodbye. The song is called So My Name. What's it called? It goes something like, Sunday evening always has a sense of something good about to end, my dear. I will message you, don't worry. I'm always on Discord. I'm always on Discord. If you ever want me or need me or anything, I'm always on Discord. That's So My Name. A great song, by the way. I recommend you go and check it out. I'm not going to play it on YouTube because they'll ban me. But yeah, have a most beautiful, beautiful evening, guys. I'll talk to you all later.